Kelvin. Thanks very much for coming along. And your first time at the Irish Cycling Show, were you at last year?
No, this is the first time. I've been to quite a few over in England, but this is the first time at the Irish Cycling Show. It's really good venue and good atmosphere, so it's good to be here.
Yeah, and I think it's an indication of just how much cycling is really taking off in all its facets. And let's talk a little bit. We can talk in a few moments about how the Irish scene has really grown in like Topsy in the last few years. But let's tell us a little bit about yourself, because you've had a long and varied career, very successful career, multi-British national champion.
Yeah, it's been a career that's had its highs and lows, I guess, as any career anyone doing sport has got in their own career. But been really lucky in a way to be able to have a long career, like 32 this year, and I've started in 1988, which made me 7 at the time, so I've had a 25-year career so far and still going pretty strong. So yeah, I'm looking to kind of build on past successes with new kind of focuses this year. Obviously kind of not the Olympic dream which that I've had for the last 8 years, but now it's kind of more racing at the World Championships in the Masters class, and hopefully do well there.
So what is the shelf life for BMX racing? We did see in the Olympics there were 1 or 2 guys over 30, but not too many.
Yeah, I think I'm not doing too bad at the moment. I'm definitely one of the older statesmen of the sport now. At the top level, you're looking at riders now, the top riders are around between 20 and 25, and anything over 27, 28 is kind of, you'd be starting to go on the wrong side of the hill on that.
Is it speed, or is it just the injuries become too much?
I'm not sure. I just think it's the kind of sport it is. The older you get, you kind of see what can actually happen to you. You start thinking more about the injuries that could happen, and when you've got more responsibilities, the older you get, then you start to kind of take a step back and think about what could happen rather than just go for it. So
well, take us back to when you were a little bit less responsible. You're an irresponsible 8-year-old, was it? How did you get involved?
Yeah, I was quite lucky, because when I was younger I always used to bomb around my dad's. I always call it like an award-winning garden, because his grass is perfect, he's got the best plants and a nice pond, and me and my brother used to tear around his garden ripping his grass up. So yeah, he didn't mind at the time, because we were just training and enjoying riding on the bike. And then luckily for me, I had a track about 2 minutes from where I lived, and they started racing down there, holding regular races, so I started down there and got hooked straight away, and the rest is another story. And
what was the BMX scene like in your area at that time? Was it enormous?
Yeah, it was thriving, because there was so many people of different ages that were doing it, so there was loads of different levels for people to aim for. So like, I was one of the youngest, so at the time I was 7, but I had people of 10, 11, 12 to chase or to train with, and at the same time those 12, 13, 14 year olds had 16, 17, 18 year olds to chase. So there was a good tier where people could progress and try and kind of better themselves to the next level all the time, so it was really good.
Obviously you've been representing Ireland for the last couple of seasons. Tell us a little bit about your Irish connections.
Yeah, well, I started riding for Ireland at the end of 2008. After the 2008 Olympics, I qualified for GB but didn't get to go and race for them at the time. And it left a bit of taste in my mouth, and I was quite kind of adamant that I was going to finish BMX and not really do it anymore at the international level. But at the time, my mum said to me, she said, why don't you just ride for Ireland? Because when she was born, she was adopted because her mother wasn't able to look after her at the time. So anyway, she found her parents after looking for them for about 2 or 3 weeks, and she found them in Limerick. So that gave me the eligibility to race for Ireland, and got the passport, and then wore the green jersey ever since.
So it was an Irish connection she wasn't aware of growing up, and just discovered quite.
No, what had happened, my grandma, who I consider my grandma, she died. So I guess for my mum it was a bit of a big deal. She wanted to kind of find her real parents and see where she was from. So it kind of tied in really well with me kind of carrying on my international career and going for the Olympics again last year. So yeah, it was ideal really.
Now London didn't quite happen for you.
No.
Was that crushing disappointment? Or?
Yeah, I mean, luckily for me, last year it was a big disappointment. It came down to one race, and I was in a qualifying position for London but didn't quite make it. I had a crash with a Dutch rider who'd already made the Olympics, so yeah, I came away from that really down, but having the 2008 experience really made me a bit of a stronger person to be able to deal with that, because it was hard to take working 4 years for something that you've already dreamed of all your life, it's hard to take. So having the 2008 experience helped me a lot to be able to get through it.
But obviously, because you've been involved with the Irish setup since 2008, and it has really just started to blossom again. There was quite a scene here in the 1980s, but it died away to pretty much nothing. And now you can see the seeds, the germ of something big again.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's noticing it now. Like, there's so many good people that's been involved in bringing BMX back to Ireland, and to be part of that is it's quite a big honour to be able to do that. You know, every time I go abroad and I've got the green jersey on, people want to come and speak to me about what's happening in Ireland, and just know about the scene here and the tracks that are in the pipeline that possibly could be getting built. So it's, for me to be able to wear the green jersey is an honour, and there's a lot of good people that's been involved in bringing BMX back to Ireland, so it's going really well at the moment.
And obviously you're not just involved in wearing the green jersey as a competitor, you've also been involved in a little bit of coaching and development work.
Yeah, that's something that when I first started riding for Ireland was my aim, not just to kind of wear the green jersey and race at races. It's about kind of developing the sport and help younger riders or older riders that want to progress themselves, help them get to the next level. So hopefully the experiences that I've had in my career can help these younger riders kind of do something that I haven't done, and hopefully we might have a few Olympians that will be here or at the tracks that are around in Ireland. They might be able to get to the Olympics in maybe 2020 or 2024.
Speaking of tracks in Ireland, we've got Newman and Ballyfermot. They're appearing all over Ireland. I mean, we've one in every province at this stage, and more in the planning.
Yeah, I mean, it's going really well. There's so many different people that are involved in helping this progress, and hopefully with more tracks we'll be able to get more people involved with the sport, and then from there, hopefully we can find these riders to go to the elite level and represent us at the international level, and that's something that's going to be really a big thing in the next few years to develop. So yeah, we're really looking forward to doing that.
And a big scene obviously with the indoor track in Ballyfermot, which suits everybody from a weather point of view, and also a fantastic outdoor circuit in Ratoath.
Yeah, it's going really well. I mean, this winter it's been so good to have the indoor circuit, because I've been over quite often. This is about the third or fourth time we've been over to do some training sessions with the younger riders, and seeing them develop from the first time that I came over in November 2011 has been it's been unbelievable to see the progress that they've all made, whether they're 5, 6, 7 year olds, even all the way up to the kind of, what can I say, the older riders, the older statesmen in the sport. So
22 and upwards.
Yeah, so the progress that everyone's making and the progress that's being made really both on and off the track is unreal, and it's not something that you see very often in other countries, because the progress we're making is making steep progress rather than gradual progress. So
I guess for parents who might be thinking about it as a sport for their kids, it is self-contained within one small venue, so in terms of getting going, it's a little bit more accessible than maybe other forms of cycle sport.
Yeah, it's one of the sports that you can really get your young kids into, and from there they can then develop all their bike skills that then might be able to progress them onto other cycling disciplines such as mountain biking or track or even out on the road, because it gives them that bike awareness and being able to use the different skills to be able to go out on the road or go on the velodrome or any other discipline that you want them to do.
Is it a bit dangerous?
Like BMX, it's not like a game of tiddlywinks. I'll be honest. It's not like if you fall down, it's going to be easy to get up sometimes. But it's one of those sports that little bit of danger or that little bit of kind of edge to it is appealing to a lot of people, and it's what brought me to the sport really and made me interested in it. I think there's a lot of young kids that like getting on there with 7 other riders on the start and thinking, you know what, this is a little bit edgy. I wouldn't say dangerous. Yeah, it can get dangerous when you're riding at the elite level, but for the young kids, because they're so small and not going as fast, not really. Well, most of the time, 99% of the time, not going to get hurt.
And I guess it's a controlled situation, because kids are kids and they will get up to diversion, so at least it's in one controlled environment and they have all the safety gear, etc.
Yeah, I mean the safety aspect of it is covered all the way through, because they're wearing the full race kit, body armour to helmet, and they're as padded up as what you can make them be. There's even neck braces now, so all the neck area is all kind of protected, so that's a really big thing that the sport's progressed on in terms of difficulty on the tracks, but also in terms of safety. They've progressed that as well, so it is a safe sport, as any sport could be. just depending on kind of...
As long as you're aware there's some danger element.
As long as you're aware of the danger element, yeah.
And what about riders coming through? Have you seen any little spark there? There are a couple of riders showing up some potential?
Oh, definitely. I mean, last night we had an older session at the local track at Dublin, and then we had a session this morning, and there was 16 riders there, all showing good potential to possibly progress on to bigger and better things. So hopefully they can ride at national level for the next few years, and then we can move them on to international level.
Is Rio too early? Or?
Yeah, definitely. It's too early at the moment because we really need something in place to be able to see riders have a clear path all the way through to an Olympic Games. At the moment, that's what we're working on with Irish Cycling, is finding something where there's a clear path for them to move on and progress each different level to move on to the Olympics. So hopefully we'll have that in place by 2016, so we're ready for the next cycle, for the next Olympics.
I guess the existence of BMX in the Olympics has made a big difference to the way that the sport is perceived.
Oh, definitely. I mean, when I was riding, when I was like 10 to 15 years old, people just used to say, oh, BMX, and think of ET and BMX bandits and this and that, but it's not. It's a professional sport, and it's a sport where you've got to work hard and dedicate your life to it to be able to be successful. So I think people have seen that and respect the sport for what it is. It's really athletic, it's skillful, and as well as that you've got to be brave and go for it as well. So it's a sport that a lot of people, once they've seen it, really respect and kind of admire riders for doing it.
So what's next for Kelvin Batey? Is it more of the same in terms of coaching development, or have you still got off to do in racing?
Yeah, I've got my own aims. Like over the years, I've had quite a few silver medals at the World Championships. So my focus this winter has been on training to be able to go to the World Championships in New Zealand in July, and hopefully be able to bring back a gold medal in the Masters class. I'm stepping down from the elite level now and trying to kind of use the last few years to win something, so hopefully be able to win a gold medal.
Masters is pretty young in BMX terms, isn't it?
I guess so. It's ultra ex-elite riders around 30 to 35 is the age limit for that. So hopefully, being at 32, I've got a good chance of going there.
It's a bit of an ageist sport, really, isn't it?
I'd say so. You've got people that are 70, 75 that go to the World Championships and race.
Really?
So if you want to do it, it's accessible for you, and if people enjoy it, why not? Because
there is a perception that BMX is something you do until you move on to mountain biking or to road cycling or cyclocross or whatever, but you don't have to leave, it's not compulsory.
Oh, definitely. Like we've got, I mean, my hero in the sport, he was Dale Holmes. He's from UK now, lives in America. He didn't finish till he was 38, 39. And he was riding at the top level all the way till then. So it just shows that if you live properly, make sure you look after yourself, you have got a good chance of making it all the way to your late 30s, possibly even early 40s. I don't think I'm planning on it for that long, but...
Well, the joints are still alive. Okay, well, fascinating stuff. I think we'll maybe give an opportunity to one or two in the audience if there's anyone that'd like to ask a question. Anyone got a question for Kelvin? Just stick up your hand and I'll amble down with the microphone. Anyone got a question? Who's shy? You've heard it all before. I believe he's told everyone, huh? Any questions? Oh, we have one. One brave soul.
What sort of infrastructure do you think you need to place here in Ireland to sort of get it to blossom?
In terms of BMX?
Yeah, what do we need to sort of progress it further?
I think in terms of facilities, with the tracks that we've got in the pipeline that hopefully will start being built this year, the more tracks we get,